So as I'm recording this, today is a Goofy movie's 25th anniversary. And I thought, for some reason, a Goofy movie has been able to speak to me like no other film has. And I gotta let you guys know that the only notes I have are just my little excerpts from the story. So, let's talk about a Goofy movie and discuss whether or not it's still worth a watch today. Hey guys, my name is Brandon, aka the BrandoCritic, and on this channel it's my job to point you in the direction of movies worth checking out. So that interests you, definitely hit like and subscribe, and today I'm here to tell you if a Goofy movie is still worth a watch today. So in a Goofy movie we have Max, played by Jason Marsden, and he lives with his father Goofy, played by Bill Farmer, who seems to always embarrass Max at every turn. On the last day of school, Max and his friends hijack the school's auditorium and perform a song from Powerline, the town's favorite pop singer, all to impress Max's crush Roxanne, played by Kellie Martin. And what do you know, his plan is successful as he gets a date with her and gets to go to a party where they will be playing Powerline's LA concert live on TV. However, Max's principal calls Goofy and warns him to take better care of his son
before he ends up in the electric chair.
Jesus Christ, Disney, do you think that's a little dark? Goofy's plan for this is to take Max on a country-long fishing trip, which means Max will have to miss the party. Unwilling to lose his shot with Roxanne, Max lies about his father knowing Powerline and claims he will be joining Powerline on stage at the LA concert. And although they have different mindsets about it, Goofy and Max embark on a road trip across the country. So is a Goofy movie worth a watch today? This is one of my favorite Disney movies, and it's so funny when people talk about Disney, it's always kind of linked to their childhood, right? Oh, what's your favorite Disney movie? The Lion King. I watched that all the time as a kid. And you know what? That's still me too. You know, if someone asked me what's my favorite 2D Disney animated movie, I would say Aladdin, because I did watch that one a lot as a kid, and I still love it now. But a Goofy movie, I only watched this one for the first time when I was 17 years old. Right? And I actually used to play in a band, not a rock band, a jazz band, if you will. And one of my buddies who was in the jazz band, we were playing in Disneyland, and it was for the high school, right? So we were gonna go to Disneyland to perform jazz, and we were hanging out, and he said, well, we're going to Disneyland pretty soon. Are there any Disney movies that you haven't seen before? We can watch those. And I said, you know, I hadn't seen Hunchback of Notre Dame, I hadn't seen Mulan, and I hadn't seen a Goofy movie. I started seeing it pop up in, you know, a bunch of top 10 lists, best Disney songs of the 90s, all that stuff. So we decided, you know what, let's watch a Goofy movie, and I had no idea what to expect. I really didn't. I thought, okay, you know, well, it's gonna have a bunch of 90s references, it's a Goofy movie, you know, you got Max trying to be extreme, super cool, you know, he's got a skateboard, you know, like this is gonna be a really dated comedy. It'll make me laugh a couple times, but that's about it. And well, I got that, right? Max is a super cool kid, or trying to be super cool, but yet he's shy, he's nerdy, he has a crush on a girl, but his father embarrasses him. Okay, this is a pretty standard story. But for some reason, something inside me changed that day. Because when this movie ended, I said to myself, this movie is great. This movie is 5 out of 5. Spoiler alert for the review, but I still think that. And I know that some of you guys have film traditions, and for me, I was watching this movie right before I went to Disneyland. And that trip was almost at the end of school, just like, you know, the first day in the movie. So, every single year from then, my last day of school, I only had 2 years of high school left, so every single last day of university, I would watch a Goofy movie. And ever since I graduated, at least once in either March, April, May, or June, I will watch a Goofy movie. And I was trying to think today, why did this film impact me so much? And why do I still watch it to this day? Because I can go down the list and I can go, well, the cinematography is this, the direction is this, the screenwriting is this, but then I'll turn into almost every other movie critic out there. And sometimes films just speak to you. It just transcends all logic, it transcends all objectivity, and it just speaks to you. And I thought, why this movie? Well, as a kid, I can relate to Max, right? He was trying to get away from his family, he was trying to be that cool, edgy kid, but he was always shy. He never really knew who he was or where his footing was, and he always had the biggest crush on that one girl. Yep, that was me. There was this one girl, and I won't say her name, trust me, I'm not gonna embarrass her, but I was just head over heels. She was my Mary Jane Watson, and I could totally feel for Max. because he had these big plans, right? He wanted to do this giant power line number the last day of school, and he would become the most famous person, the most popular kid, just because of one act. And I definitely had some daydreams about that, right? I'm just gonna go up to this person, I'm gonna profess my love, and then I'm gonna fall in love and all this stuff. So I can relate with Max, and then of course the family gets in the way. So of course that's one thing that I was able to get drawn into. Obviously now it's a bit of a different story, but now I'm able to see it through Goofy's perspective. And you know, growing up, you know, the relationship between father and son, it's not as strong as it is when you're a kid, right? Of course, I know a lot of people are still best friends with their dad, but you know, it gets hard growing up. The power struggle between, hey son, oh dad, you're embarrassing me. Like Onward did for brothers, a Goofy movie did for father and son. And I knew it back then, but every single year, the heart of this movie, it gets just heavier, and it just gets more real, and it gets better. This movie gets better every single time I see it because it just seems to fit my life at that point. You know, it always reminds me of me and my dad and the relationship that I have with him. You know, he's not the biggest movie lover, but he'll get interested in movies, and you know, I'll try to talk to him about hockey all the time. Like, I can talk about hockey for days. If it's not movies, it's hockey. That's what's coming out of my mouth. It's a really heartfelt movie, and I start to see the deeper layers of it every single time I watch it. And again, it's not, you know, Oscar worthy. This isn't a movie that's gonna totally just make you break down and cry, but there is a couple really well-written scenes that make me cry. Like, this movie makes me cry, but it is also a movie that when the climax happened, my first viewing, I literally felt just this uplift of just pure happiness and joy and just this youthful energy that I jumped out of my seat and I yelled yes in my friend's house, and he was looking at me like, Brandon, what the fuck's wrong with you? Seriously. But I'm like come on man, like it's a great climax. It just totally just stripped away all of my thoughts, all of my teenage worries, like, oh, well, like, I can't really like this movie that much because I'm a teenager watching the Goofy movie for the first time. I'm not really supposed to like it, but I'll watch it anyways. Like, oh, it's cute, it's fun to go back and watch these old movies from the 90s. It just totally stripped away all of that and went right to the bone, and just pure emotional simplicity. It hit it. This movie's heartfelt, it's funny. Again, it's not the most hilarious movie in the world. Like, if you really look at the humor, it's goofy. It fits perfectly. And even today, I know all the jokes. I see them coming, but they still make me laugh, right? And all the heartfelt moments, they make me cry. All the happy moments makes me want to cheer. The soundtrack is awesome. I mean, Tevin Campbell's Eye to Eye, Stand Out, After Today, On the Open Road. These songs are wonderful, and especially the Tevin Campbell Powerline songs. I really do jam out to those in my car, you know? Is that a little embarrassing? If it is, I don't really care, because I'm giving a Goofy movie a 5 out of 5. And yes, this is probably the video that a lot of people are saying, okay, BrandoCritic, you are now certifiably insane. That you will give a Goofy movie 5 out of 5 and put it amongst the top of all Disney movies. You know what? That's the beauty of film. Sometimes, you know, I can look at this and go like, okay, well, look at the father and son relationship. There's other films that did it better. You know, like, this is a Goofy movie. How really heartfelt can it be? And I can try to, you know, pick apart this movie and find flaws and find, you know, jokes that don't really work or things that don't really make sense. But movies, like, why do we watch movies? Why, as a species, human species, why do we watch movies? And in my mind, it's to feel emotion, right? And I will never forget what my screenwriting teacher said in my second year of film school. He said, a filmmaker is one of the only professions where your audience or your clients and your customers will pay you to emotionally manipulate them. And I thought about that and I'm like, that is completely true. Because why do you see an action movie? You want to feel excited. You want to feel this exhilaration, this adrenaline. Why do you see a comedy? Because you want to laugh, right? Think about what you're actually doing. You're driving out of your house to sit in a room full of 300 other strangers to stare at a screen for 2 hours and then go home. It doesn't actually sound like the most riveting thing to do, but it's that emotion. It's that emotional journey and a story that you get out of it. And stories and emotional journeys impact people in different ways. And the Goofy movie just came along one day in 2011 and just totally just shifted my world. And my Disney ranking just totally went out of proportion. and I still watch this movie every single year. So there you go. I love a Goofy movie. That was with no notes. The only notes I had was for the story. Everything else just came from the heart, because a movie like this that just totally just impacts you out of nowhere, I felt like I just needed to talk from the heart. And don't talk about notes, don't talk about the cinematography angles or the animation. Like, it's all great stuff. This movie works. Anyways, guys, tell me down in the comment section down below, what is a Disney movie that just speaks to you every single time? It gets better every single time you watch it, you listen to all the songs, and you just love it. What's that movie? I'd love to know. And have you guys seen a Goofy movie? Tell me what you guys thought down in the comment section down below. And if you're new and you want to see more videos just like this, definitely hit like and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Take care.